Welcome back, everybody. This is Sarcasm Speaks. You're only listening right now, so you're not watching on YouTube because we got kicked off YouTube. We got suspended from YouTube for a week. Um, so I guess theoretically, us recording this on Zoom is for naught, but this is how we record things, and this is where we pull the audio file from it. So this is what we do. Yeah, so I mean, we called it. But I titled the episode "This Will Get Us Canceled," and it did. So if you are listening, which obviously this is the only way you're consuming this, you potentially listened to the previous episode with the aforementioned title. We covered a lot of spicy topics on that, having to do with different kinds of vaccines and different controversies, and a study that was published in a peer-reviewed journal. And the title of that journal is Vaccine. However, we got flagged on YouTube. We got our first strike. I appealed it to no avail. I haven't gotten a response. I know it's to no avail.
What was the first one? Just a warning?
Yeah, the first one was just a warning. And I think it was also health misinformation.
That or the stuffed bread situation.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was probably the stuffed bread. People just didn't want to listen to that.
They
Which we
just
might
can't.
have more of in the next episode when Jones joins us. So we might be completely thrown off of YouTube by the end of this week. Well, actually, no, because we wouldn't be on YouTube to then
No,
get
because we can't
another
be on it.
strike.
Yeah, we can't be on it to
Yeah.
get kicked off yet.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. So, alas, I think what I'll do
See,
is,
talk about a stupid fucking like we knew that was gonna fucking happen, and we did it anyway. And it's
oh
like,
yeah, yeah,
so I was gonna say, I hope no one interprets this as like, oh, I can't believe they gave us a strike, or like, oh, I'll feel bad for. No, we
yeah.
were right.
I literally titled the episode "We'll get canceled for this," or they'll cancel us for this, or something. I don't know, whatever it is. It was we're gonna get canceled was effectively the title of that episode.
We
Um,
did.
and we did. So once again, we're right because we don't say anything unless we're right.
You're wrong all the time. I'm always
Oh
right.
yeah, that's true too. But yeah, so there we have it. I think what I'll do is I'll still, obviously we're gonna have the video files. So what I'll do is obviously less of a mad dash to get tonight's episode up on YouTube, before tomorrow. Um, but what I think I'll still do is I'll still build the video versions, and then when our suspension is up on YouTube, I'll just publish them. Um, Maybe I'll do them like, because I think we'll end up losing 3 episodes, I think, on YouTube. So what I might do is
A
just
week.
post them on like 3 consecutive days, um, to go up, and I'll put like some caveat in like the description or something like this was from, you know, February 26th episode or whatever,
Well, not for
something
nothing.
like that.
It's like you still post like episode title, right? Like, I'm sorry, episode
Oh,
number.
yeah.
Yeah. So who gives a fuck?
Yeah, they'll figure it out. So yeah, just when we were getting a little hot on YouTube, I think the lowest YouTube down like views. Um, well, that one was 13. Okay, the one I pulled up was 13. But I think before that, some like the lowest YouTube we had was like high 30s, low 40s. So we were actually kind of like starting to hit, 50, 60, 70, like on a consistent basis. But yeah, fuck YouTube. Keeping us down, man. Not that it also really matters that much anyway, because we don't make money off of this show either. Like if we were running ads on YouTube, like if we had like in the thousands of views or tens of thousands, and they put ads on our videos, obviously we would lose that ad revenue. Um, but I mean, whatever. So here we are. We will prevail. But shout out to Podbean, the audio hosting service that puts us automatically everywhere that you can get audio podcasts. So, Spotify ain't gonna cancel us because they don't cancel anybody. Apple, you don't know. We're still not big enough to cause any ruckus at Apple. But hey. Well, now that we got that out of the way, um, trying to think of some things here that are the most time sensitive because peeling the
We're
curtain
getting
back here,
one-headed.
we are this is game one of a doubleheader for us. So as I alluded to a few minutes ago, Jones is actually going to be joining us for game two of the doubleheader. But obviously with some of this, our second episode going to be coming out on Thursday,
Thursday.
right? So I want to be a little cognizant of some time sensitive stuff here. But either way, I think the biggest thing that happened of late, right, that will be still relevant when this comes out tomorrow, is the AT&T service outage that happened last Thursday. So I figured it out while I was on my way to work. I left my house, and I get in my truck and I listen to podcasts incessantly in the car. Like that's all I listen to in the car. When I rip through all the podcasts, or like if the ones I listen to put out some ones that like I don't find interesting, like if Rogan has a string of ones that I'm like, I don't really care about that guest or whatever. Or Drinking Bros has like a weird guest on that I don't care about. Sometimes I get to the end of my list and then I will go to sports talk radio. Um, but I would say 99% of the time I'm listening to podcasts in my truck when I'm driving to and from work. So I leave my house, driving down the road, going up Route 1 on my way to Framingham. And all of a sudden, my podcast just freezes. I'm like, oh, that's weird. What the fuck's going on? So I open up Spotify, and I look, and all of my like saved episodes were grayed out. Like it's what happens when I'm on a plane, right? And I turn my data off. If I don't have the episode downloaded, like I don't have access to it. I'm like, that's weird. Why are all these grayed out? And then I look and I'm like, oh, I don't have service. Like the top of my phone says SOS. I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I'm like, maybe I'm just in like a dead zone. Maybe they're doing work on a tower somewhere, whatever. So I don't think anything of it. So I switch over to sports radio and I continue to drive up Route 1. I go back roads through like Plainville and Rentham up to 495 to get up to Framingham. And I look again, probably when I'm in like Bellingham, and still no service, still SOS mode. I'm like, oh, that's really fucking weird. Like I should be on to the next service tower at this point. Um, so I'm like, all right, this is weird. So I take my work phone, and I know this is fucking dangerous, right? But it's a highway driving, and it's early morning. There's no one on the road, and it's 495. Fuck off. It's like the Wild Wild West. Um, I could be doing 77 on 495, and there could be a car that just blows by me as if I was doing like 50. Like 495 is nuts. It's not quite as bad as 24.
I was gonna say
I
because 24.
I think 24 is the actual Wild West. Um 495 is like, you know, fucking San Francisco in 1849, right?
I
It's
was driving like 80 the other day, and at 5:40 in the morning, and someone like fucking came up like right on my ass. Which also people have a way too lenient, recreational, leisurely. No, there's But excessive use of high beams is going
Oh
on.
yeah.
I don't know. Again, I'm not getting out of your way just because you fucking high beam me. Actually, I slow down if you do that. You can go around me if that's the case. Yeah, people fucking fly by me on 24 in the morning.
Yeah. Um, so I take my work phone and I just Google like AT&T outage, right? And the first thing that pops up, AT&T experiencing nationwide outage, and it was like from 2 hours ago, and this was like 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:15. So I'm like, oh, cool. So that story got published at 5 a.m. that they were having an outage, and I was like, ah, whatever. So then I text Amy from my work phone to be like, hey, I think AT&T has an outage. So my phone doesn't work. So if you need me for anything, if there's an emergency, just text me here. And then I was like, oh fuck. Like we've talked about in the past, like the scams, right? Like you and I have talked about on the show, right? Like the AI scam calls and stuff. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, she's gonna think this is like a scam or something. And then I text her back and I go, this isn't a scam. This is really me. If you text me on my number, I'm not gonna be able to respond because I don't have service.
Exactly what a scammer would say.
And then I was like, fuck. So what I ended up doing was taking a picture of me in the car and sending it and be like, this, it's me. Because she doesn't have why would she have my work phone number? Like I never would text her from my work phone. I have my phone. But so then that was fine. I'm sure she probably got a chuckle out of it at least. But it was like me in the car driving, being like, fuck, like that's gonna sound like a scam. And I'm like, ah shit, it's saying that's not a scam is exactly what a scammer would say. I go,
Exactly.
how do I fix this? I go, I know. They can't get a picture of me wearing exactly what I wore when I left this morning.
Here's a stupid question. She wouldn't have answered you, would she? I was gonna say, why didn't you just call? But she probably wouldn't have answered you.
Yeah, no, I think she was getting ready to go to work. I think her mom watched the baby that day.
Well, also, I wouldn't answer a random phone number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although, I don't know, because if Michaela had a work phone and text me saying, hey, phone ain't working. If you like, if there's an emergency or something, text me here, and then called immediately, I think I probably would answer.
Yeah,
Because a
probably.
scam usually is a one trick pony.
Yeah.
You're either getting one text with some type of link that they want you to follow,
Right. Your
or
Amazon package is delayed. Click
yeah,
here to see the
or
status.
it's one phone call where they try to get you. And
Right.
that's the thing is like if someone sent me that text and called and I did answer and it wasn't her, what? Click.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that easy.
Yeah. Yeah. So turns out basically the entire day. I think the service didn't come back until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Luckily, I mean, I was able to connect my phone to the Wi-Fi at the client site that I was at. So my phone did work while I was on site, at least. Um, but for the drive home, it did not work. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of one of those weird things. And like everyone is talking about it, right? And like, here we go. Because now this opens the door for everyone. And Joe Rogan talked about it on his podcast a little bit, actually. But people are like, well, see, this is why you need to be prepared. This is why you need to start prepping. This is why people can't survive without their phones and all this stuff. And I'm like,
Which part? Which part did people not survive?
yeah. And
Who
I'm sitting
died? Who
here
died
like,
because AT&T ran out of service?
exactly. Yeah. And it's like, I understand what you're doing, right? But the problem that you are presenting would be in much dire circumstances than AT&T running out of service, right? Like if for some reason, well, not for some reason, if there was some sort of like a international cyber attack, right? And it shut down the entire grid in the United States. So like not just AT&T's fucking cell phone service, like electricity everywhere is gone, like all that. Yes, there would be a legitimate issue and you would need to have been prepped for that moment. So like, yeah, I get what these people are getting at, but they're like blowing up a small situation. And if that's enough for someone to go out and be like, "Oh, I need to be prepared in case something like that did happen," then good on them, right? Like all the power to them. But for people to like be freaking out because AT&T servers went down for like effectively like 12 hours, um, I don't know, guys, not that big of a deal, right? Like, yeah, it's inconvenient that
It
your phone
sounds
doesn't work,
glorious
right?
for 12 hours to not get a single text message.
Yeah, yeah, it
That
does.
sounds awesome, actually.
But like, at what point during that 12 hours of no AT&T service did someone need to like go out and learn how to like trap rabbits and skin them and build a shelter in the woods? Like, none of that. None of that
This,
happened.
this is why I need to have a fucking it's doomsday prep. We're
Yeah,
talking doomsday prepping because the
yeah,
cell phones didn't work.
right, right. And like,
Society existed before cell phones. Actually, society worked a lot better than it does
I
now
was just about to say, I think it worked a lot better without cell phones, but
because and I love how everyone's like, well, what if I need to get in touch with someone? What if I need to? Okay, well, here's how this works. You can still call 911. That's how emergency service works.
right.
911 is still available. Other than that, what could be so motherfucking important that it's like, well, what if I had to get in touch with you? What if I needed whatever? It's like, what could it possibly have been?
Yeah, yeah. And the best part about that, actually, I'm really glad you brought up 911 because the
It,
Massachusetts State Police had to put out a tweet that said, please, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was please stop dialing 911 just to see if it works on your phone. The 911 operators are currently overwhelmed dealing with all of this. Yes, if your phone turns on, it can reach 911, right? Like that's I butchered the quote, but like that was the tweet, right? It was along those lines. They literally said, please stop dialing 911 just to see if your phone will still work. If your phone is on, it will dial 911. And it's
assholes,
like, I just
absolute
imagine like
assholes.
that's chaos, right? Like that's someone that's like, oh my God, my phone doesn't have service. It's SOS mode. Does that mean I can still dial 911? And then they just decide to dial 911. Like, what dumbass wants to call 911 just to see if they can?
When was the last time you called 911?
An accident on the highway.
How long ago was it?
I don't know, probably last year, the year before.
So okay, fairly recent.
Yeah.
What about before that?
Uh, I've seen quite a bit of accidents on the highway. I've
Okay,
I mean my last job and this job required me to
because you're on the
drive.
road.
I drive pretty frequently.
Okay,
I've seen cars flipped
I'm
over. I've seen cars hydroplane. It's
so I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly certain I have never called 911.
it's actually not a smooth process. So I've like I said, I've called 911 a few times. And
I
when
don't
you
think I've
dial,
ever called.
you get an operator, right? And
Right.
they're like, 911, what's your
What's your
emergency?
emergency?
Right. And I explain to them like, hey, I'm on 95 northbound by mile marker 37, and the car behind me just hydroplaned and smashed the Meridian. And they're like, okay, um, you know, did you stop and pull over? And I was like, no, I was going 75 miles an hour and I was in the left lane. Like I could not safely get over to the side of the road. Like I just wanted to let you guys know that like that just happened right behind me. This is a true story. This did. And they were like, "Okay, well hold on. I'm going to have to connect you to the nearest like barracks or something." And I was like, "Okay." And then they connect me and they go like, whatever. I forget what town it was, but let's say it was Dedham, right? Because I know there's a state police barracks in Dedham. Um, oh, it's Dedham State Police. What can I do for you? And I'm like, hey, man, was
This is
on the
gonna sound stupid,
highway
but
on 95 northbound by mile marker 37. There was a car behind me that hydroplaned, whatever. And he goes, okay, all right. Did you pull over to the side of the road? No, sir. I was going too fast in the left lane. I couldn't get over. And like, they dispatched, right? Like they sent someone, but the amount of time it took me
yeah.
to speak to the 911 operator and then explain the situation to whatever department I needed to be routed to was probably 2 to 3 minutes, right?
Weren't
Like
we
in a dire emergency, 2 to 3 minutes is like a big deal.
weren't we told when we were kids, it's like if you dial 911 and hang up,
Yeah, they'll call you
they,
back.
no, no, no. Like, weren't we told when we were kids that if you dial 911 and for whatever reason, like say the house is on fire, you dial 911 and you pass out. But like, so you dial it, you
Yeah.
send the signal, but you don't actually get in touch with anybody. They can track the phone and then they can send you usually like a cop, a fire engine, and an ambulance, like one of each.
So I think, and now
Would that be landlines?
I was
Because
just going to
I'm trying to
say,
think when we were kids.
I
Because
think when we were kids, it was a landline, right? Because
if they
cell
track
phones
your
weren't
cell
really a
phone,
thing.
you're on the move.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
And
I mean,
it takes a little bit to get a precise location from a cell phone, right? They have to like triangulate you versus like they have to ping different cell phone towers and see where you
yeah.
actually are. But a
Um,
landline is very distinct, like you are here.
yeah. Okay, that's probably what I'm thinking of then. Because when we were kids, there were no cell phone. They were around, but
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
with
so
them.
I mean, this I might hear from Sexy Chris on this one with some real information or maybe some explanation behind it. Although I know he was a big YouTube guy, he watched us on YouTube, so I don't know if he's going to catch any of these episodes
Yeah,
that
that's
are
gonna be
audio.
tough.
But um, I would be fascinated to learn a little bit more, like the theory, the thought process of, and I'm sure like
Well, you
there's a
gotta
very
think, right?
logistical reason for it, right? I just don't know it.
So
Like I said, I'm
let's
just a dumbass that's dialed
yeah.
911 a handful of times,
Well,
and that's
let's
been my
reason through
experience.
this a little bit. So you think about it, right? So there's always going to be a hierarchy of what's going on here. So a highway accident, I have to imagine if that
That's
person needs,
state police
and
jurisdiction
it's
too,
state police, if that person needs like what would be considered like immediate care, well, they're not getting it anyway because
right?
someone has to go from the barracks out to the area. Now, this could be very inconvenient, could be very convenient. Never mind, that's a trooper. A trooper can get there probably pretty fucking fast.
Right,
An ambulance can't get there as fast. And especially if it was a hydroplane situation, how fast can an ambulance move in the fucking rain?
right, right.
So there's probably like a hierarchy of how long something actually takes. And it's like, okay, well, someone hit the thing. All right, this one gets pushed to locally.
Right.
Now, if you said, I am here and there's someone fucking shooting the place up, they might go, get to a safe space. We're sending people.
Yeah, there might just be like a oh shit button, right? Like
Yeah.
like they might just be able to hit like a send all, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Like
everyone
reply
just
all.
go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's no way or it's like, this is like a SWAT or an FBI, like
Right, right.
whatever. Cause then it's
Yeah,
like, so I got into a car accident and we just called local.
yeah,
I might have called the wrong town because I probably didn't know where I was, but
yeah.
no, it might have been fine. Um, yeah, I think someone else had to call at the gym one day. An old guy went down, but yeah, I mean, like that's the thing is like all these people. It's like, oh, I just want to call 911 just to make sure it works. Like, how frequently do you call 911?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you can't call that much.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Who
in my
like,
lifetime, I've probably called 3 or 4 times.
and that seems like a lot to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like I said, I don't think I've ever dialed 911 ever.
Yeah.
Because I usually try to just go right to the local PD because highways are different because that's state jurisdiction. But yeah, it's like if something happens in a town, like just skip a step. It's like it doesn't take long to Google the local PD.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure there's, 911 operator training, right, that they go through. And like you said, it's the hierarchy of needs. If
Right,
someone's calling saying there's an accident on the highway, that's a transfer to whatever the nearest state police barracks is, right?
right,
If you like dial 911 and you're like hiding in your closet because someone broke into your house and you're whispering to the phone, that's probably the oh shit button,
right.
right? Like that's like, okay, we're going to send anyone and everyone.
Yeah, whoever
Same
we got.
thing with like an active shooter or something anywhere, right? Like
Yeah.
that's just, like I said, I just don't have that
Or
training. Right?
like,
I'm not
hey,
privy to that.
I got into a car accident, this guy's bleeding.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
I'm administering CPR right now as we speak.
right, right. Yeah, yeah. So fucking dumbasses. Just calling 911 just to see. And it got
It's like
so bad that the
they
Mass
call
State
it,
Police
yeah,
tweeted about it.
they treated 911 like it's fucking Stop and Shop on like New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Hi, just wanted to see when you closed today.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my
Hey,
God.
just wanted to see if you were open today.
I got PTSD from working at the liquor store. Anytime we were open on a holiday, we were closing early. That's literally what they would do. Hey, just wanted to see if you guys were open
Stop and
today.
Shop in
Yep.
Medford. We're open till
Yep.
6.
Hey,
How'd you
what
know I
time are
was
you
gonna
guys open
ask?
today? Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know
Yep.
you were gonna ask.
Yeah. Colonial Package. We close at 7.
Wow, thanks.
Oh, that's great. Yep.
Yeah,
You're
it's awesome.
welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Thanks. One of the guys I worked with used to just fucking take the phone off the hook because it was a landline.
Yeah,
Um, but like whatever, depending on whatever holiday it was, like sometimes we close at 6, sometimes we close at 7. Like right around, say we close at 6, right around like 5:40, he would just take
right
the
off
phone
the
off the
hook.
hook. Be like, yep,
Too
it's
late.
there's
If you
20,
ain't
there's
on your
yeah,
way,
there's 20 minutes left. Like I'm not fucking answering the phone for you. That guy worked there for a very long time.
yeah, if you're not already on your way,
Yeah.
you missed out.
Yeah, you ain't getting here. Also, like, why, like, what possible situation could you find yourself in that on like the day before Thanksgiving is a big drinking holiday, but still, say that like the day before Thanksgiving, right? It's 5:30 and you're scrambling to get to a liquor store before 6 o'clock when it closes. Like, how did you find yourself in this situation?
You suck.
Like the day
Everyone
before,
knows the
like,
stores are closed on day of.
and everyone knows that Thanksgiving is the third Thursday in November. And don't give me the fourth. I thought it
Is
was
it
the
the
third.
fourth?
I thought it was the third.
Is it the third? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think it's the third Thursday in November.
Third Thursday in
Um,
November? Sounds right. Because
Regardless.
sometimes it's like the 21st, right?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's early. Like it can
Mathematically,
be
that
like the
can't be the fourth.
23rd. Yeah. Um, so don't give me the bullshit of like, oh, I had to work today. Okay, well, did you have to work Saturday and Sunday? Because we were open Saturday and Sunday the week before. Oh, you want me to come in 4 days before to get what yeah, I do. I do, actually. I would like you to come in 4 days before the holiday to get whatever you need on this day because we close at 6 o'clock.
The same
And
way that people don't buy their turkey at 5:30 on the day before.
yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know, do a little planning ahead, right?
Oh, wow.
If you're a booze bag,
I'm
right, and
surprised you never got into fucking assaulted.
you need your handle of fucking Jim Beam or whatever you need, hey, buy two, right? Next week's a holiday, buy two, right? Like just live large, right? you don't want to, just don't fuck around.
You
Like,
know, some
why?
of those people cannot buy two, and you know that they definitely
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, no, I know. Because
So you're gonna
they could buy
you're gonna
three and they'll still be back in three
yeah,
days.
they'll still be back on that Wednesday at
Yeah,
5:30.
yeah, yeah.
It's the same thing. If it's in the you don't want to eat a bunch of fucking snacks and shit, don't have it in the house. If
Yeah,
it's in the house, you'll probably eat it. Some of those people, if it's in
it
the house, they will
they
drink
will
it.
drink it. Yep, yep. No, that is for sure. But yeah, it's people suck. Basically, is what it comes down to.
They got problems, man.
People got a lot of problems. Um, you know who else has problems? Actually, is Charlie Woods.
Does he
So
though?
no, no. So this I know I let in like I was gonna, get on him. Um, but really, realistically, this is another thing of people just being fucking insufferable. He's what, 15?
He's 15 years old.
He's 15 years old. And he played in, so for anyone that doesn't know, this is Tiger Woods' son. 15 years old and played in a pre-qualifier to a professional PGA tournament, right? So this is legit.
Yeah, so
Like,
the way the pecking order goes is there's always a pre-qualifier before the Monday qualifier.
right.
So at the Monday, four people generally get the four best scores and they play off, so it's four total, get into the event. Unless it's like an invitational. There is no Monday queue for the Masters.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Although that would be fucking electric.
That would be nuts.
That would be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Um, they should have a one person open qualifier. One. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
Probably have a fucking 7-for-1 playoff too. That would be fucking electric. And put it at like somewhere fucking nuts too. Anyway, so any idiot can enter the pre-queue. Anyone.
Right.
Uh, Sorry, there might be a handicap
Yeah, I was going to say,
requirement.
I'm assuming there's a handicap requirement.
I think there might be, but people manipulate their handicaps and shit. So it's like sometimes you finish last in your fantasy football draft, you got to go to the pre-queue. Some people want to say, I went to a qualifier for a PGA Tour event. What'd you
Yeah.
shoot? 120. So the pre-qualifier exists to weed out the idiots.
Right.
Or you are a professional, but you just have no standing anywhere, anyhow, any way to skip. So there are many ways to skip the pre-qualifying process. It's just, it usually ties to success in some way, shape, or form. But some pros haven't ever played on the Corn Ferry Tour. They've never played on the PGA Tour.
Right.
They've haven't made a cut in an event, like stuff like that. So he's playing in the pre-qualifier, which I don't know how many entries there are, but however many move on, maybe 20. 20 can move into the Monday qualifier where only four people can actually get into the event.
Right. So Charlie Woods, again, 15 years old, entered this pre-qualifier and shot an 86, which is or was 16 over. Right. So you see this for, in the lens of the PGA Tour, right? If someone shoots 16 over, that's really fucking bad. That's like Larry Mize at the Masters bad, right? Like, although I don't even think Larry Mize would shoot a 16 over. Um,
Might.
he might, but obviously not great, right? And everyone is like getting on him, being like, "Oh, this sucks," whatever. very few people were like, oh, just leave him alone. Like the limelight's not good for him. He's a young kid. Like let him do his thing, whatever. Regardless, like he's 15 years old and he went into a pre-qualifier and shot 16 over, right? Like I don't know what the top guys shot, but I would imagine in a pre-qualifier, it's probably pretty close to even, right? Like maybe +2, +3.
I'm willing to bet that
I would imagine like maybe one person shot under par.
you'd be surprised. What is it? The Cognizant
Yeah, it's not the Honda anymore.
Classic Pre-Q.
I
I
mean,
don't
do
know.
guys
I
go
don't know
there
if,
and light it up and shoot like a 12 under?
dude, you would not 12, but like you'd be surprised. Like, dude, I would not doubt. So this is the only thing though. I don't know how many people get into the um 25 and ties.
Okay.
25 and ties get into the Monday. This is gonna be funny. You're gonna actually be surprised. Oh, no, 5 got in. Do you know what it took to get in?
What?
3 under or better.
3 under. Okay.
It's five and it was 5 and ties got into the qualifier.
Yeah, so he finished almost dead last. He finished T110 at
Oh,
16 over.
okay, so there's 4 sites that would have approximately 25 in ties. Okay, that's why. So
Oh,
at
okay. So
at
each
the
site
one site,
provides
yeah,
5.
so I don't know which site he played at. I just looked at Boca Raton. He did not play in Boca Raton.
Lost Lake, Hobie Sound.
He would have played in Hope Sound.
Yeah.
Hobie.
Hobe.
That's where
Yeah.
he would have played.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. I got it. So we shot a 16 over. Um, one of the holes, I think he made a 12.
He made it 12. So my one big takeaway is so first and foremost, people have strong opinions without knowing what the fuck they're talking about. This is a pre-fucking qualifier. Anybody can enter a pre-qualifier. He's not taking anybody's spot.
Right.
He is not doing that. Because that's what a lot of people say is it's like, oh, well, someone else's opportunity. No, it's not someone else's opportunity. It's the fucking pre-qualifier.
Right.
One of 4 sites. That is not what we're talking about. And then some people have a lot of strong opinions about the performance of a fucking 15-year-old. It's like, how can you care this much about what a fucking 15-year-old does in a tournament that you probably didn't even know the process of or how this even exists? And especially looking at it like, well, he's gonna play on the PGA Tour with that. No, it's in his back fucking yard.
Yeah.
All it is tournament reps.
Right.
So the next tournament he plays, he probably won't make a 12.
Right. Right.
He probably won't shoot 16 over. Like people are getting bent out of shape for no fucking reason.
But also, too, like he's playing from professional tees at 15 years old. So, yeah, I mean, everyone's like, oh, he can outdrive Tiger. Okay, sure. Yeah, cool. Right. Like
Okay.
that
No, he
doesn't,
can't.
yeah, I was just going to kind of get to that. He definitely can't. Right. Like he can't. Like if Tiger hits a bad shot and he hits a good shot, sure. Yeah, he can outdrive him. Right. But like,
Doubt it.
that's a ridiculous fucking statement to say. Like, has he ever outdriven his father? Yes, probably. Like his dad probably hit a bad shot and he hit the best shot of his life and he outdrove him. Yeah, sure. But again, to take it into context, right? You have a 15-year-old kid playing from professional tees in a in an event like that, like whatever. Like I don't really put too much stock into a 16 over.
You
Um,
hear the real bullshit that came from that pre-qualifying site?
no.
So the real bullshit was, um, and I got this from Monday Q. So he reached out to the section and goes, "Is Charlie Woods actually playing in this event?" And they go, "Yes. Can you not tweet anything about it until Thursday?" He goes, "No problem." Thursday was the pre-qualifier.
Yeah.
So what does the fucking PGA Tour do? Fucking tweets about it on Wednesday. So then at this pre-queue, there's a fucking gallery and there's people following them. And
Yep.
there was like specifically like one grandmother pulled her kid out of school, hoping that Charlie would notice her so that the grandmother could like talk to Charlie Woods. And like, again, this is a pre, like, dude, I don't know where these golf courses are. Like, I know like Hope Sound, like Hobie Sound, whatever the fuck it is. I know that's like probably one of the richest places in the entire world, but like, or entire country, but like, that could have been like a very regular golf course. Now, the one I just saw in Boca Raton, I'm guessing that that was a very, very regular golf course.
Yeah.
The PGA section doesn't have ropes. They don't have security. They don't have
Right.
volunteers. They don't have anything. They don't have any infrastructure to handle any of this
It's
stuff.
just like going to play golf at your local muni, right? Like it's just there's
Some of them
people
are.
there. Yeah.
Sometimes the pre-Qs are at munis. Sometimes the
Yeah.
Monday Qs are at munis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like for anyone listening right now that's like trying to imagine and picture it, like, right? Like it's imagine just playing on a regular golf course. Like that's what this is. That's all this
Yeah, and it's
is.
like, say you want to go play that day, and they go, "Oh, sorry, man, there's a tournament, but it's professional, whatever." It's like, "Oh, cool. Can I walk the course?" "Yeah, man, whatever you want." And then you
Yeah.
just go walk the course.
Yeah.
No ropes, no marshals, no nothing.
Right.
In the fucking Genius PGA Tour tweets it out. "Oh, he's playing." So then it was like all types of crazy shit. Like you got people showing up, asking for autographs, trying to get his attention. He's 15.
Yeah.
And according to Twitter, he fucking sucks. So it's like, how does he have a gallery and he fucking sucks?
Right. Right.
Which none of this is fair to a fucking 15-year-old.
No, it's not. It's really
And
not.
he has his own security detail. Someone fucking knew that this was going to happen. He had like two or three guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his dad's a billionaire. I'm sure he has security 24/7.
Yeah, it's not hard, but like that's the
Yeah.
other thing too is like they knew, like someone knew this was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Never mind, it's like all it takes is someone to go to the leaderboard and be like, "Oh shit, he's playing.
Right.
He's on the second hole. I have 3 more hours to get to the golf course. Like I can get there."
Right. Right.
Yeah, so I mean, there was a lot of bullshit that he had to deal with that, especially to like it's gonna be hard, man, for him. Like it's gonna be a tough go
It is tough. And
until he gets to
it's,
college, because college events, there's some level of structure.
yeah. And I mean, of all the, I mean, there's been plenty of athletes that have gone on to play and, their dads were great or, fantastic, players at whatever sport they were. But most often, right? Like the kids don't really live up to the parents.
Yeah, we've been over
Um,
this.
yeah, like there's very few examples, but then like the dad was just kind of like a regular dude.
Yeah,
Like Barry Bonds Sr. was just an average baseball
Ken
player.
Griffey Sr.
Yeah, Ken Griffey Sr. was an average player, right? Like Ken Griffey Jr. was an absolute fucking stud. Michael Jordan's kids, not that great, right? Like trying to think of
Jerry Rice's kids aren't that good at football.
yeah, Randy Moss's
Moss's
son
kid was
was not good at
he was
football.
just fine at LSU.
Yeah, he
Now
played
that team
tight
was
end.
full of fucking studs, but
So it's just one of those weird things. I think golf is probably a little bit immune to that in a way because it's not as, I don't want to say physically demanding because that's not really what I mean, but it's different, right? Like it's not football, right? It's not baseball. It's I feel like it's more it's an individual sport. That's what I'm trying to get at, right? Like that I think that's what my point is that Charlie Woods is a lot more in control of his success than Michael Jordan's son, right? Michael Jordan's son, if you're not good at basketball, you kind of get lost in the team, right? There's not really a ton you can do. Like yeah, I mean, you either got it or you don't to a certain degree. But I feel like with golf, if you're not good, like you could get better.
Yeah, I mean, if you can,
So like I think
like,
there's
I don't
physical
think you can.
limitations to some of those team
Yeah,
sports too, right? Like if Michael Jordan has a kid that's 6'1",
yeah, it's gonna be tough.
how good is he going to be, right? If I don't know, but say like if Dick Butkus had a kid that was 5'10" and 180 pounds, probably not going to be that good at football, right?
Probably
Like
not
some of
playing
those
football.
sports have physical limitations. There are no physical limitations for golf. I mean, Brian Harmon won the British Open, and he's like 5'6", like 145 pounds. Like,
Yeah, and it's like you can like say let's pretend that he's just kind of like fine
yeah,
at golf. But he sits there and goes, "You know what? I just want to be a contributing player at Stanford." He can probably work hard enough to get there.
yeah,
Now, like saying be like, "You know what? I want to be an NCAA champion or I want to win a USAM just like my father." It's like that's not up to you.
right,
And like that's what I like you can always like temper your expectations to a certain extent. And he's started playing young enough where it's like his ceiling is probably pretty high. Will he ever reach it? I don't know. He's also 15 fucking years old.
yeah,
If I didn't make that readily fucking clear.
yeah, yep,
He's not even in high school. I'm sorry. He's not even in college.
right,
He's not eligible to fucking drive a car.
yeah. He's three
Who
years
knows where he's
away.
at in puberty?
He's 3 years away from deciding on a college.
He's 7, 8 years away from finishing growing,
Yeah,
and we're evaluating this kid.
yeah,
And people are like, "See, this is why you shouldn't play because he made a 12." Do you know how fucking easy it is to make a 12?
yeah. It's really easy, actually.
Fucking
Is there
it can be.
water on the
Hey,
hole?
it can be really easy and it can be really fucking hard, but
Yeah,
sometimes easy.
yeah.
Now that being said, I don't know if I've made a 12 in competition. I've definitely made a 10. Definitely made a 9 and everything below. No ones. Yeah, I've got 2 through 10 covered. I don't know if I've made an 11
Yeah, I'm pretty
in
sure I've got
competition.
2 through 10 covered
Well, I'm saying this like I've done this in
in
events.
competition. Yeah. I mean, well, I've never then because I've in
Yeah.
my single competition, my single competitive round, uh, I shot an 86.
I don't think I've made an 11.
I'm just as good as Charlie Woods.
Well, don't worry. That round I made that 10, I definitely broke 86. Probably shot 82.
So, I mean, it's just it's dumb, right? It is what it comes down to. You're piling on a 15-year-old at the end of the day. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
we'll
so
see.
stupid.
We'll see what he turns into, right? He could be great, he could not be. And either way, I think that's probably fine, right? It's not going to affect me at all whether
I
Charlie
could care
Woods ends up,
less.
yeah, like whether Charlie Woods ends up being great or whether he doesn't even make the PGA Tour. It literally has no effect on my life.
Yep.
So if he does, hey, it's a cool story. If he doesn't, whatever.
Don't care.
Yeah, don't care. So, uh, all right. You want to wrap this bitch up?
You wrap this up.
All right.
Hear about the Medford firefighters?
No, what about?
So earlier in the month, 21 out of 23 of them banged out of work. Um, and then because of that, and then the associated sick pay and thus like overtime for like the coverage and whatnot,
Yeah.
cost the city like $90,000 or something.
Jesus. So
Uh,
so 21 out of 23, does that mean that there were only two firefighters
it
active
might have
that
been
one
over a
day?
2 day span. I tried to pull the article and read it fast. So this is also what my mother told me.
Okay.
And I tried to pull the article to read it quickly, but it also like kind of wasn't clear. So I
Yeah.
think what happened is I'd say like probably half that number banged out one day, and then half that number banged out the other day,
Okay.
which means if you're supposed to staff 23, you can't split that in half. Amongst the fire stations, if you're supposed to staff 23 guys, well, 11 of them banged out, that leaves 12, which means whoever worked, say it was on a Tuesday, well, whoever worked Monday is now working Tuesday, so that's overtime.
Right.
And then all those guys that banged out getting their sick time for that day, well, now they're covering for the other guys that banged out, which is now overtime because it wasn't their shift.
Yeah.
So I think that's how it kind of worked. And
Okay.
then the fire chief retired the next day.
Really?
So
So it was a coordinated effort.
allegedly,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe something was going around. So this is not in any article. This is not whatever. I believe the fire chief is so obviously he's retiring.
Was
Like
it Gilberti still? Is he
I
or
have
did
no
he
clue.
did he retire years ago?
No idea.
He might have retired years ago. He was the fire chief when we were in Medford. There's
I'm
no way he
guessing it's
was.
not him anymore.
It's probably not him anymore.
Uh, and I think the mayor wants to point from outside.
Oh, what could go wrong there?
So the union wants to hire from within.
Right.
And I also think the union's operating without a contract right now.
Yeah, I see this right here. I just found an article. I just searched Medford Fire Department. The first thing that pops up is an article from the Boston Herald that said Medford mayor broke law during search for interim chief, union attorney alleges.
Oh, it's a law. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So an attorney for the Medford Fire Union is accusing Mayor Brianna Lungo Cohn of breaking the law by offering a firefighter from outside the city to serve as interim chief. Oh, so that's what it was. But the mayor says she's in the right as she followed the city charter. So it was not Gilberti. The Medford Fire Department has been operating without a chief since John Friedman retired Wednesday after nearly 30 years of service, serving as the department leader in the final two. So he's been the chief for 2 years.
And I guess one of the criticisms is she does that with everything. She always tries to appoint her own person. She never wants to hire from within for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Good way for everybody to fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Which is great because on like another scale, like you how you said with the facilities guys, like why would you piss off the firefighters in the DPW? Like I
Right.
don't know if she did anything to the DPW. I'm just saying that.
Right.
But
But
like
effectively, like those are the facilities and security, right? Like the
yeah,
cops, right? Your security,
well cops are
your
bad, so we
your
don't need to talk
maintenance.
about them.
Yeah. All cops are bad, right? Um,
But firefighters,
yeah, firefighters. Everyone loves the firefighters.
if it wasn't
Um,
for teachers, they would be the real heroes.
yeah. But like that's,
They
your
were striking
facilities,
too.
maintenance and security, right? In a building, like that's the equivalent to firefighters and cops and
That's the thing.
DPW
Like if you're
in
the
a city.
mayor, and it's like if you're good to the DPW, hey guys, listen, I know I'm going like out of protocol. Could you head down to Main Street and could you just take a look at the road? Well, I don't know. Hey, come budget time, we'll have a conversation. All right, I got a couple guys that can go. But when the mayor hates you, nope, that's not the process.
Yeah. 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 So
Jones is coming in.
hates Jones. Um, yeah, we've got this article is great. I'm reading through. They talk about Medford has been divided since a wave of sick callouts within the fire department earlier this month cost the city nearly $100,000. The mayor described the situation as a quote orchestrated event.
Oh, well, it's funny because, like, good thing you pulled the Herald because I want to say the city of Medford released an article regarding that. It's like the mayor's going to observe her options regarding the sick time policy. Da, 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 da. And it's like,
Yeah,
lady, you're not getting this.
yeah,
Like, you are, like, talk about, like, it's the same thing, like Uncle Ben on Jemima. Like,
right.
it's like, okay. So you guys all banged out sick because you don't like the way that I'm handling this. So I'm going to observe what the sick time policies are and whatnot. And it's like, no, you're not getting this.
Oh, she's trying to take the city off of civil service too. She's fucking pissing everybody off. Not a good look. But that's pretty funny. Um, classic. So, what are we going here? My final thought is a follow up on a previous episode. I don't know if it was the last one or the one before that. We were talking about like just people being dumb. And I mentioned like, I work with a lot of smart people, right? Like scientists, right? And we said even smart, like
I don't know. You work
scientists
with a
can be
lot of
dumb.
educated people,
Yes, educated people.
educated,
So
experienced.
I texted our group chat with me, you, Jones, and Vinny the other day and went off because I was on a call with some scientists that we just moved into their new building. And we moved them in the last week in January, right? That's when everything was done. By like the first week in February, everything was finalized, getting reinstalled, all that stuff. So we're going on like 3 weeks since we finished the move. Well, I was on a call the other day, and one of the scientists asked, "When when are we going to have our fridges, you know, up and running?" And there was just like dead silence on the call, and someone from the construction team was like, "I don't. What do you mean? Like everything should be on site and ready to go." And this one scientist goes, "Well, yeah, everything is here, but the fridges aren't plugged in, so they're not functioning yet. They're not to temperature." And I was like, what? What? So another woman that I work with that did the move, I'm texting her on the side being like, are you shitting me? These people have had all of this stuff on site for 3 weeks and they can't plug it in. They can't bend over and plug in a fridge or a freezer into an outlet in the wall. They literally asked on a call with like 40 people on this call, when is someone going to come into my lab and plug in my freezer? I was like, you
Uh,
have got to be shitting me.
it's funny. I just started this new business where I'm a subcontractor where
Yeah. I go from pharmaceutical
I
client
can
all
plug.
over.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say my job is I can plug in appliances.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
plug things in.
it's $100 an hour, which I think is very cheap, especially for Boston. It's $100 an hour plus expenses.
Yep.
So yeah, let me know. I'll just I will plug in your appliances. That's what I do. What's your
Yep.
business? I plug in appliances.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
That's an office space moment, dude. So actually, so here's a question. What did someone answer the question?
Yeah. Someone was like, yeah, I mean, I can get someone to come by and plug them in for you.
Should have called me.
They're like, yeah, we'll talk to facilities and have someone come to the lab and plug them in. But like again, these people are supposed to be smart, right? Allegedly, supposed to be, right? They're
That's why
they're
we use different words.
they're highly educated.
There's difference between educated and intelligent.
They do scientific work to like cure some awful diseases, but they can't possibly be bothered to plug in a freezer that's been sitting in their lab for 3 weeks. And instead, they wait for 3 weeks on a call with everyone to say, when is my freezer going to be functioning? Because it's not plugged in. Like, what? Like, it just absolutely blew my mind and it wasn't just one person. There was multiple people on that call that were like, oh, yeah, ours aren't plugged in either. And I was like, this is what we're doing.
97.3% of people are idiots.
This is what we're doing. You can't even plug in fridges and freezers.
Not that hard.
Yeah. So everyone is dumb. Well, that's gonna do it for us for game one here. This is normally where I would say thank you for watching on YouTube, but you're not. So I'll skip that
Not
part.
yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
You could be once I put this up in a couple weeks. So subscribe if you happen to be watching this in the future on YouTube. Subscribe up above. So you can also subscribe with whatever audio platform you're on. If you use Spotify or iTunes, leave us 5 stars and a review. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod, Twitter at Sarcasm_speaks, Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks, website sarcasmspeaks.com. Go to the merch store, buy some merch. Then also, yes, Jones is here. Yeah, you can see him. He's got the guy right there, the coaster. That's the word I was looking for. And then while you're buying shit, you can check out the show notes below. And you will see all of the links and promo codes and all of that fun stuff to save some money and support the sponsors of the show, who will then support us. So until next time, good night, everybody.